Hey, what's up, y'all? So I've been kind of staying away from the Will Smith and the Chris Rock situation. Um, and I'm still gonna stay away from whether I think it was right or wrong. I mean, of course I think it was wrong, but that's neither here nor there because we all do wrong stuff, depending on how we feel at the moment, right? So I'm not gonna get into that because I can mention a million things I've done wrong, right? But what I want to do talk about is the so-called punishment that they gave him from the Oscars. So what I think about the punishment is I see a lot of people outraged. Like they suspended him for he's banned for 10 years. Oh, that's too much. They shouldn't have did that to him and this. And I'm thinking like, if you are with what Will did, if you one of them people who feel like it was necessary or you don't see nothing wrong or like this is a win for you. This is a win for Will, like, because technically nothing happened. They did nothing. And okay, so I'm explaining to you why I feel like they did nothing, right? This reminds me of cigarettes. These metaphors. So cigarettes have nothing to do with the will thing. These are metaphors I'm using, right? I'm explaining to you. When they first made the correlation that cigarettes is linked to cancer, right? Which we know there are other things linked to cancer too, how you eat and all this other stuff. But I'm talking about cigarette smoke and how it does your lungs, messes up your lungs, and all kinds of other stuff. And people were trying to figure out what are they going to do about it now that they know this actually affects the way people live and if they're going to die or not and all the other good stuff, right? So instead of doing something about it, like when you're a master of illusion, like instead of doing something about it, this is what they did. Like, because cigarettes, they make too much money in taxes. They make too much money all the way around. In America, it's about making money. They don't mess with their money like they do with the healthcare and all that other. They don't mess with their money, right? So what they did is, all right, we got to make these people happy. We got to let them know that we care about them and we're trying to do something about the situation. Let's put a filter on the cigarette. And when people put the filter on the cigarette, they say, let's go even further. Let's put a warning sign on the label. Um, that's like putting a warning sign on a gun and then leaving it out for kids to play with. Anyway, um, and people say, yeah, they did something, so now it's on you. They put a filter on it and everything. That's going a filter. It's just filtering. It's the same stuff is still going in your body. It's just filtering it. Like it's just filtering it. So in reality, they did nothing. They just made you feel good about the situation. Because in reality, they literally did nothing. And I don't think people understand that. Like, because if you give a good illusion, like a magician with a magic trick, like, oh man, he made the Empire State Building disappear. Like, it's all the illusion, right? Okay, so I gave you that. I'm getting to the will thing. Bear with me. I'm just giving some examples of people doing nothing and everybody think they did something. They put a filter on something. They didn't change anything, whatever. They still doing the same thing, right? Well, they did make them cut back on, I think the nicotine, which they didn't make them take it out. That's what make them addicted to cigarettes and stuff like that. But anyway, they did nothing. So then, here's another example. Just like the police killing people. Now, if they punish the police for killing an unarmed man, then it'll look like they're turning their back on police officers. So they do the spin, right? How can we make it look like we're doing something, but we don't mess with the police? It's usually the city, the mayors, the governors, all that stuff. But we know our police officers are not getting enough training. We need to add more training. So you mean guys who don't have that much training, you putting guns in their hand and putting them out there to protect people, which would sound crazy because that seemed like that would be a lawsuit within itself. But neither here nor there. So you telling me the average citizen that's not a police officer, you don't have to train them to say, don't shoot an unarmed man. Don't shoot a person if they're not putting your life in danger. You don't have to train the average. So a person that's went through all this training and they're professionals at what they do, you have to give them more training to tell them don't shoot an unarmed man. You have to tell them if the person's running from you, they're no longer a threat, they're afraid of you. You have to tell them that. You have to tell them a cell phone is not a gun. You shouldn't have shot the man with a cell phone in his hand. Look, a gun is a part of a police officer's uniform. They put that on every day when they put their uniform on. They know what their uniform looks like. They know the weight of it. They know the size of it. They know everything about it. So you're not going to convince me that people who do this for a living need more training, especially if it's somebody that's been on the force 15 years, 20 years. You're not going to say, well, they need more training on how to deal with people. No. Start punishing some people and they'll show restraint. I don't care. Listen, yes, it's against the law to run from the police. It's against the law to fight the police. It's just, against the law, just resisting arrest altogether. But just because you're not in shape or you don't feel like running don't mean, listen, I can't catch this guy. I'm finna shoot him in the back. Okay. I can go on and on for days. So basically every time, they put a person in jail here and there, give them a whole bunch of time, then they get out half of the time. They don't do it all the time. They say they're going to get anyway. Yeah. But that's a different subject, right? So there's another spin. People don't even realize that. No different. Well, I can go on and on. This is because America is so good at it. They're so good at spinning the situation, making it seem like making you focus on something else other than what it really is, right? So they do nothing about the police situation. They put a couple people in jail, but you need rules that go all around the board. So when this happens, it'll be easy to spot it. This person needs to go to jail. They shot a person in the back. Not going after the person that got killed. Well, he was arrested for domestic violence a year ago or 2 years. That had nothing to do with this moment. But what people always do is they try to discredit the victim. The victim can be a terrible person. He can be a kingpin, drug lord. But at that moment, if you wasn't in danger, shooting them in the back with them running away doesn't justify it. So that's a way of not doing nothing by attacking the victim, which they probably wasn't a victim overall, but at that moment they was a victim. So, okay, that's another situation where they do nothing. They just throw out something to make people feel good. Yeah, they're going to get more training, then we're going to be okay. Then, of course, they let you sue them, but that doesn't change the situation. Now, leading up to the Will thing. They suspended this man for 10 years. Well, banned him for 10 years at the Oscars. And Netflix and some of the other business ventures put a pause on the deals that they got with him. They didn't back out of it or nothing like that. They put a pause. So everybody like, man, he's losing money left and right. Most of that stuff he didn't already got paid for, or he didn't get paid a percentage of it up front. He's not losing any money. Let's get that straight. When a person put a pause on something, that don't mean they're done with him. That means they're going to calm down. They're going to wait until everything calms down and everybody forgets about it and they jump onto the next subject or the next event that happens, Eminem and Game mad at each other, or this little stupid stuff, right? They'll wait to the next situation and they'll jump onto it. Then when everybody's distracted about something else, Will, with his Netflix deal, he's talking about the red table. He's talking about Jada because it's money either way. Chris Rock is going to make money talking about his situation. Will's going to make money. So nothing's going to happen on that end. They're not messing with his money. They're just putting a pause on it, making you think they're doing something. They doing nothing. I know I'm long-winded. Now here we go with the Oscars. You banned him for 10 years, which means nothing because he can still get awards. He just can't go to the party. They said they had banned him from attending. So you mean to tell me, if I'm suspended from work and they have a raffle so I can win a brand new car, I can't come to work, but I can still win the car. I can still be in the raffle to win the car. And it's not affecting none of my money because I'm still getting paid. Oh, they put my check on pause. So I'm still getting the back pay, whatever. They put my money on pause. They didn't say you're not getting this and that. Everything's on pause. They just trying to see how the wind gonna blow. That's it. Because Chris Rock is going to sue. We know that. And he's going to get his money. And he's going to get a Netflix deal. We know that. We know all this stuff. Well, most of us know this stuff ahead of time. Critical thinkers. So, technically, you're mad about nothing. They're not going to do nothing to Will. Banning him for 10 years is nothing. He's still going to win Oscars if he's in any movies or whatever. He just can't come. Someone has to accept the Oscar for him and bring it to him. So, technically, they did nothing. So that's my long-winded 2 cents of it. I hope y'all get what I'm saying. Everybody's upset. In reality, nothing's happening. Nothing is happening. Just like politics, every year they promise you the same thing. In the next 4 years, they're promising you the same thing. In the next 4 years, they're promising you the same thing. In reality, nothing has happened. I eat knowledge for breakfast.